So guys, I just found a little loophole. I figured something out. The other day I was thinking, what is a polyglot? What's the definition of a polyglot? Clearly it's someone who knows a lot of languages, but know to what extent. So I did a bit of research. Turns out that there actually is a really vague definition of what a polyglot means, which means that you might be a polyglot. Maybe not yet, but by the end of this video, you will be. So, according to Webster's dictionary, the definition of a polyglot is one who is a polyglot. Okay, just kidding. No, I mean, that's what it says. Speaking or writing several languages. Now, to what extent? How much do you need to be able to speak it? How much do you need to be able to write it? What if you just knew 2 words in many, many languages? Polyglot? I'd argue, sure. In some contexts, yeah. So that's what we're going to do in this video. You are going to become a polyglot by the end of this video. We are going to use the Drops app to memorize all the languages in the app. It's like around 40 or something like that. Hello and goodbye. Simple greetings that might be useful. Definitely won't make you fluent. Definitely won't help you with a lot of things to survive in the wild in a foreign country. But you will be a polyglot nonetheless. So how are we going to do this really quick? Well, for each of the languages, we're going to come up with an image that just represents the language. Maybe it's related to the country that speaks it, or maybe it's something that the language word sounds like. It has nothing to do with the actual language, but something to remind us of what the word is for the language, so we have a reference. Then we're going to come up with a mnemonic to remember hello and goodbye, and then associate them together. That's how we do things here. We connect, we link things, because our brain works better when we link stuff we don't know to stuff that we do know. In case you're interested, these are the languages that we're gonna learn: Arabic, Brazilian Portuguese, Chinese, Croatian, Danish, Dutch, Estonian, Finnish, French, German, Greek, Hawaiian, Hebrew, Hindi, Hungarian, Icelandic, Italian, Indonesian, Japanese, Korean. What else? We're gonna do Norwegian, Persian, Polish, Russian, Samoan, Serbian, Spanish, Swahili, Tagalog, Thai, Turkish, and Vietnamese. All right, one quick thing I gotta say is that a lot of these greetings, hellos and goodbyes, you know, I don't speak these languages perfectly. Most of them I don't, at least. Obviously, in all languages, there are multiple ways to say hello and goodbye, depending on how informal you want to be, how polite you want to be, what time of day it is, how casual it is, whatever. So I might be mixing some here and there. This is based on my research and using the Drops app. So we're learning what I'm giving to you. And if I'm wrong, please excuse me. You can correct me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, especially from the native people from the languages that I'm butchering. First one is Arabic, all right? And my image for Arabic, I'm gonna go with a rabbit. So a rabbit. Just sounds like Arabic. And the way to say hello is marhaban. And the way to say goodbye is ila alika. So how would I remember that? I need to relate those 2 things to a rabbit somehow. So I'm gonna break it apart into kind of what it sounds like. It kind of sounds like marhaban. Marhaban. I'm really butchering the pronunciation there, but this is to help you kind of get the idea. If you really wanna nail down the pronunciation, that's another matter. All right, so marhaban kind of sounds like I'm marring or destroying or defacing a van. It's close enough to help you remember the thing. So think of a rabbit marring a van. And now to remember the goodbye, we got to kind of connect that into a story. So the rabbit is marring a van, and he suddenly feels ill, and he's gonna go drink a bottle of liquor. Liquor. Yeah, I know. This is how it works, right? These aren't perfect, exact copies of what you're supposed to remember, but it's enough to get you the distance. All right, next one is Brazilian Portuguese. So the image for Brazil, I'm gonna think of maybe a soccer ball. It's arguable, I know, but let's just go with Brazil because they're pretty good at soccer, usually, not always, usually. And the hello and goodbye are super easy. It's oi and ciao. So what I would picture is, you know, somebody's playing soccer and they say, hey, oi.
Oi! Get bloody out of you.
Oi is something I would say like if I wanted someone's attention. Oi, oi. And ciao literally sounds like chow, like food that you eat. So I'm saying, oi, pass me the ball and some chow. All right, I think of the Great Wall of China. That's my image for China. And to say hello is ni hao, which always reminds me of a knee and somebody just asking how. So maybe this Great Wall is built with a bunch of kneecaps and you just look at it and say, how? How is that possible? Ni hao. And then to say goodbye, it's zai qian. And I'm probably butchering that. Zai qian, zai qian, zai qian. So it kind of sounds like you're gonna say chain, like say the word chain. So we have the Great Wall of China, right? And it's made of kneecaps and you're saying how. But then after that, after you've kind of come to terms with it, you realize that they're all connected by a bunch of chains. So you say chains. All right, next we have Croatian. And so my image for Croatia is a crow, just the bird. And the way to say hello is bok. So you can think of this crow as reading a book. And actually when he opens it, because he's a bird, there's a dove and he's got some chains on ya. So it's dovčenia. That's how you say goodbye, dovčenia. For Danish, I think of a Danish. Cool, that's my picture. And to say hello, it's easy, it's just hey. So maybe if someone's eating in Danish, you just tap them on the shoulder and you say, hey. Now, saying goodbye, I couldn't for the life of me come up with an image because it's just such a unique word. It's favel. So maybe you could think of like, kind of sounds like shovel, favel. So maybe you say hey, because you want that Danish and you want to favel it into your mouth. Shovel it into your mouth. Favel. Hey, favel. Think of a clog. That's the image I have for Dutch. And the way to say hello, there's a bunch of ways to say it. But the one I'm going to choose is dag. Okay, with that kind of at the end of your throat, dag. And the way to say goodbye, you could actually just say dag as well, but you can also say doei. It's a very Dutch thing. All right, so you think of that clog, and let's put a duck in that clog. Now I know it's dag is not the same as duck, but it's close enough. You just got to know that that k at the end is not pronounced k, it's pronounced kind of like a softer way, dag. And then as that duck gets in the clog, he says doi. To me, doi is like the sound you make when it's like duh, super obvious. So dag and doi. Next one is Estonian. All right, and I think of a stone. That's my image for that. And the way to say hello is tere, which makes me think of like tearing something. Tere, tear it. And the way to say goodbye is nagamist, which sounds like I'm nagging like the mist, just annoying it or something. So let's picture a stone, all right, that you're trying to tear in half. And you're tearing it in half to just throw it into this mist that's coming at you and you want to nag it. All right, so you're tearing this stone and nagging the mist with it. So tere and nagamist. Next we have finish. So I just think of finishing something. That sounds like the word finish. And the way to say hello is hey. Some of these are super easy. And the way to say goodbye, there's a bunch of ways, but I think the funnest way and the most casual is moi moi. So imagine you just finish something and you just quickly say hey. It's kind of weird. Usually when you finish something, you say goodbye, but no, you say hey. Maybe as you're finishing up and you say hey, you look up and you say, oh, this person looks pretty good. My, moi moi. And then French, we all know French, right? Think of the Eiffel Tower, that's our image. We say bonjour, which if I need to give you an image for that one, come on. And to say goodbye is au revoir, or you could say salut. I don't need to give you guys an image for this one. You guys should know this. If not, go watch a bunch of French movies. All right, next we have German, all right, which we can just picture a German Shepherd. That's my image for German. And to say hello, it's very easy. It's hallo.
Hallo. Hello.
And to say goodbye, it's tschüss. I just imagine a German Shepherd being super chipper, saying hello, and then he's obsessed with shoes. Oh my God, he just loves shoes. Oh my God, shoes. Shoes. Next up is Greek, and for Greek or Greece, I would picture the Parthenon. Very symbolic, easy to imagine structure. And the way to say hello is yasu, and to say goodbye is andio. So I would imagine inside of this Parthenon that maybe I'm in line for some soup, and someone comes up to me and asks if I would like some. I'd say yeah, soup. Yeah, soup. Yeah, soup. There's no P, but yeah, soup. And then when they ask for your name, you have this big name tag on that says An D-O. You're An D-O. Next, we have Hawaiian, which is very beautiful. My picture for Hawaiian is alay. And the way to say hello, we all know this, is aloha. And I think you can also say aloha to say goodbye, but people also say ahuiho. So the way to remember that is imagine with this lay. I mean, when everybody gets laid, you always say aloha. I don't think you need a mnemonic for that, but ahuiho kind of sounds like saying ahoy, hoy, ahoy, ho. Something like a pirate would say, but it's ahui ho. Hui ho. So when you say goodbye, you imagine you're sailing off from the Hawaiian Islands and saying ahoy ho. Some kind of altered version of ahoy ho. Next we have Hebrew, and for Hebrew it has the word brew in it, so I just picture a cup of brew, a cup of coffee. And we have two words, shalom, and the word to say goodbye is lahitreot. May not be saying that perfectly, but it breaks down into lahit reot. Lahit reot. I think that's right. So what I would do is imagine just drinking a cup of coffee and saying shalom in a very respectful way. And you take a sip and ooh, the heat, lahit, just makes you run out, ray out, lahit reot. Next we have Hindi. I would just picture the Taj Mahal because it's in India, the very iconic structure. And the way to say hello is namaste, which you can also say goodbye as well if you want to keep it simple. Namaste. Maybe you can just imagine being in front of the Taj Mahal, being as peaceful as possible. Maybe you're even doing yoga and you're just saying namaste, namaste. If you want an alternate way to say goodbye, you can also say alvida, which kind of sounds like I'll be back, but with a V in there. Alvida. Next, we have Hungarian. To say hello it sounds like see ya, which is see ya. See ya. So maybe think of being hungry. That's my image for Hungarian. And you're so hungry that even before you say hello, you say see ya. Because you're out of there, you gotta get a bite to eat. And then actually to say goodbye is vislat, which sounds like a V slot. So maybe as soon as you say see ya, hello, you go get some food through some kind of vending machine and you put some money in that V slot. All right, next one is Icelandic, and it's a very difficult language, but thank goodness the greetings are easy. So to say hello, the very informal one is just hi. And then to say goodbye is also very easy. It's bless. Those kind of make sense. You're obviously going to say hi when you say hi, and you're blessing someone before you leave. That makes sense. So maybe you can kind of associate it to Iceland because it's cold. So you want to keep it quick and say hi. That's it. Gotta go. It's too cold. And then bless because hopefully you stay warm. Bless. Italian. I don't think I need to tell you this. You could just say, well, it's buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Or you could say ciao. I think ciao is the easiest one to remember. And then also you can use ciao to say goodbye. So you eat tons of Italian food, pasta, pizza, whatever you want. So whenever you go to Italy, you're definitely going to ciao. You're going to chow down. So you say ciao when you say hello. You say ciao when you say goodbye. Next up, Indonesian. To say hello, pretty simple. Just hi. That's the easy one. And then to say goodbye, it's sampai jumpa. So I think of like sampai in a jumper, wearing that's the English word for a sweater. And so Indonesia, my picture for that is kind of like, I just think of Bali surfing, right? So maybe somebody's surfing on the waves and they say hi, maybe it's a high wave, which you could picture as while they're surfing after they've gone on that high wave, they've got sampai wearing a jumper or a sweater and they're eating it while they're surfing. Sampai jumpa. Japanese, okay, a lot of people know this one, but konnichiwa and sayonara. I don't even know if you need to remember that. Many people know just konnichiwa. And sayonara, I just think of like some samurai about to kill someone saying sayonara. Korean next, and we'll keep it simple. Some of their words can be long and tricky to say, so just to keep it simple is annyeong, and that's for hello and goodbye. Annyeong. So Korean, I think of like K-pop, like a K-pop band, and I would just picture them being super young and like me commenting on that saying, and how young they are, and young. They're a K-pop band and young, and young, and young, and young. All right, then we have Norwegian. This one's easy. To say hello, it's hello. And then to say goodbye, it's hade. So if we had an image for Norwegian, let's think of skis. Again, I'm just gonna picture someone skiing and just being super chipper saying hello. And hade kind of sounds like a headache, but you don't finish the word. They're at high altitude skiing in the mountains and they have a headache. Next we have Persian. I think it's the same as Farsi. And to say hello, we say salam. And then to say goodbye is khodo hafez, which is a tough one. So I would imagine for Persia, I think of like a Persian cat. Okay, that's a very easy thing to picture. And salam, I think of like salami. So imagine this Persian cat is eating salam. And to say goodbye, khodo hafez. Kind of sounds like hold up and then something with half as. So maybe imagine that this cat's eating the salami and you say, hold up, let's half it. Let's do halfsies, right? You want to share that with them. So khodo hafez. Polish, all right? And my image for Polish is just a Polish sausage. And the way to say hello and essentially goodbye, there are other ways to say goodbye, but to keep it simple, it's just chest, which sounds like you're saying chess, but with a ch at the end. So chest, chest. So imagine that this sausage is playing chess, but imagine this sausage for some reason just can't pronounce it correctly. He's just saying chest, chest. So for Russia, I think of like a vodka bottle, and the way to say hello is privyet, and the way to say goodbye is paka. So I'm gonna think of when I get that bottle in a VIP room, it's very private, privyet, right? And so when I get in there, the first thing I do is when you say hello, that's, you're talking about the private room, you say privyet. And then when you're done, you wanna leave, you got to pack up all your stuff, so you paka, you pack up your stuff. Samoan, for Samoan, I think immediately of the rock, and the way to say hello in Samoan is talofa, and the way to say goodbye is fa. So I'm gonna picture the rock eating a loaf of bread, talofa, right? When you say hi to him, he's eating talofa bread, and then just picture him throwing that sandwich on that loaf of bread, talofa bread, really far. Now he's strong, so imagine he can really throw that far away. That's how you say goodbye to that talofa bread sandwich thing. Next we have Serbian. My image for Serbian is a serpent. Sounds like Serbian, serpent. And the way to say hello and goodbye, essentially the same thing, is zdravo, which sounds like I'm driving something, but just with that Z in the front. So imagine that serpent is going in zigzags, but driving, right? Zdravo. I think we can skip that one because most people know that. It's hola,
Hola.
and adios.
Adios. Adios. Guys, class is over. I'm trying to get you to leave.
Swahili sounds like you're about to swat your heel, like with a fly swatter. Swahili. So that's our image for that. And then the way to say hello is jambo, which sounds like it's like jam, or like Rambo covered in jam or something. It's jambo. And the way to say goodbye is kwaheri, which sounds like quite hairy. So I would imagine you're trying to swat your heel, and there's this tiny little jam-covered Jambo, and he's quite hairy. That's it. Swedish fish. Love that candy. You could eat that all day long. Hello is very simple. It's just hi. And then to say goodbye is kind of nice. It's hedua. But it kind of sounds like you're saying, hey, do I eat more Swedish fish? Then we have Tagalog, which is basically Filipino. And it's kind of interesting how it sounds a lot like Spanish. So the way to say hello is ¿cómo está?, which kind of sounds like ¿cómo está?, in Spanish. Tagalog, I think of like playing tag. So people are running around playing tag, and they're all saying just like ¿cómo está?, ¿cómo está?. I don't know. Maybe they're all a bunch of people from Spain or something playing tag, saying ¿cómo está?. And then to say goodbye, it's paalam. So maybe they're all running around asking each other ¿cómo está?, but then there's a big pa or father or papa who's got an alarm, and he's just like, guys, the alarm went off. It's over. Paalam. Time to say goodbye. Next up is Thai, and there's a few different ways to say hello and goodbye. So what di is the way to say hello and goodbye. So let's memorize that. So Thai, I think of like an actual business suit tie. And so what di sounds like I'm saying I'm swatting the letter D. Two more. We have Turkish. All right, so obviously the image for that would be a turkey. And the way they say hello is very similar to how we learned it for Arabic, which was marhaban, right? This is merhaba, very close, right? So you can just maybe think of like, it's more that merhaba. So maybe it's like a mermaid singing ABBA or something like that. And then to say goodbye, it's kind of tricky. It's hoshakal. Kind of sounds like a hose and a shackle. Hose and a shackle. So hoshakal. So imagine this mermaid singing ABBA. Maybe a hose is spraying water at her and she's in shackles. Hoshakal. So Vietnamese, I think of like a vet, like a vet doctor. And the way to say hello, super simple, is jiao. And the way to say goodbye is tambit. So I'm gonna picture the vet doctor saying jiao, right, as it's bit by the dog, but that he's cursing out this musical beat that's playing in the background because that's what excited the dog to bite him in the first place. So damn beat. Tambit. All right, guys, that's it. I hope that was fun. A little bit weird. I know some of those images and sounds weren't exactly the right way to say some of these words, but it's close enough that if you did a little bit of extra studying and research on each of those languages, you would have it down pat. Now, again, I'm not an expert, but that was just my 2 cents, and hopefully it helped you get a little bit of the way towards becoming a polyglot. You're welcome. Now, of course, if you want to get better at these languages, there's tons and tons of resources. One of my favorites is this Drops app, which is actually what I use to find a lot of these words. Drops is a fantastic app that I've used to learn Dutch. I'm currently using it to learn another language, but it's super easy to use. The UI is beautiful. And what's nice is they actually have an online visual dictionary. So if you don't have the app on your phone, you can actually, through their website, check it out and find a lot of these words or meanings for any words. So I actually used a lot of that to quickly look up some of these words. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. Oh, and if anybody can tell me in a different language that I didn't mention how to say hello and goodbye and a good mnemonic for it in the comments below, the one who gives me the most interesting one, at least one that I don't know or didn't know, will get a free year subscription to Drops itself. So get writing in the comments, folks. Man, there's so many things I could say for goodbye, but I'm just gonna say bye. In English, right? I guess I didn't cover that one, but hello and goodbye is how you say hello and goodbye in English. All right, I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna get destroyed for this video.